How's it going? This is Andros, and today we actually have the entire Entertainment Gaming Daily team here. Logan, Mike, Rebecca, and myself. We are here to chat about 2 games we'd like to see on the Nintendo Switch. So let's get started. All right, guys. Honestly, my first game I would say should be Animal Crossing. Personally, I really enjoy the Animal Crossing series. That is one of the best series when it comes to just casually playing. Typically, there's always something to do, especially in regards to New Leaf. That's one of my all-time favorite 3DS games, personally. It's actually pretty fun to just kind of deal with Nook, and get money to actually make your house bigger and always be in debt, kind of like real life. Make your house bigger. You can pretty much buy new clothes, try to, work up your town. That's something I'd like to do on the Switch. That would definitely give me hours and hours of gameplay on the Switch, especially if they add that online play, maybe add the island back. I feel like Animal Crossing would be a great idea. It would look gorgeous because the Switch can render such beautiful graphics for their games. After seeing games like Breath of the Wild, I definitely have a lot of faith that they can do an Animal Crossing, make it fully flushed. The world's a lot bigger. And have the game generally just be incredibly enjoyable. Like, I'm sure anything will be a step up from New Leaf, considering New Leaf was completely amazing. But with that being on a 3DS, I'm sure they had a lot of limitations compared to what they could do on a home console. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
I personally have not played a Animal Crossing.
Really?
No. I have the amiibos, but for collecting purpose, but I've never played it.
Well.
You haven't played it either? Wow, I just feel so lonely on this one.
I really enjoy Animal Crossing on my 3DS. It's really fun.
I mean, the characters look creative. I mean, I've seen the amiibo, so I can only imagine what the game was like.
Yeah, they literally take the most uncomfortable looking animal they could think of and then give it like full on clothing and personality. Some of them are really snooty and mean, and they like to make like really strange remarks. So that's a thing.
Okay.
All right.
What I chose was Pokemon Stadium.
Huh?
I remember playing that from Nintendo 64. I personally love Pokemon and all the series that came out so far. I mean, it was simple. The battles, you just battled 1 versus 1. You had the original 150 Pokemon. I personally love the first generation other than the others. There's so many generations now, I can't even keep up with them. So
yeah,
I'm a huge fan of the.
I think there's 7 or 8.
150. There's how many?
7 or 8.
Oh my, yeah.
There's about 800 Pokemon.
I'm with the originals because that's what I grew up with. So, yeah.
So, you sure you want to see a Pokemon Stadium and not like a full-fledged Pokemon game? Because the newer 3DS games, when you're in a battle, it's like Pokemon Stadium, although the actual world is kind of like playing like a Final Fantasy or something like that. So it's like a full RPG with the battle system.
Okay, that's new. That's the only one I remember from the Nintendo 64.
You have a 3DS, right?
I do, yes.
Get yourself Pokemon Sun, Moon, or X, and you'll be able to actually basically.
I haven't played the new one, Sun or Moon.
Okay, yes.
But I haven't played yet.
Sun and Moon's kind of more in the vein of a RPG. Like, I mean, not RPG, like a 3-dimensional like console RPG. Like, it's just a little bit more flesh to it. Original
Pokemons, but they're like in a Hawaiian style, so they kind of look different. Like some of them are snowy and some.
Yeah, like the Alolan Meowth.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. Like Sandshrew looked different. I think Vulpix was like a snowy one instead of a fire type. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, at least you're
really
up to
used
date.
To the originals.
Yeah, at least you're up to date. So.
Yeah.
Well, what have you got for your first one, Rebecca?
My first one is going to be The Sims 4, or I guess any Sims game, really. I really enjoy playing it on PC. I would look forward to playing it on the Switch, just because it'd be a great handheld game, to take and go. Maybe even add like a multiplayer setting for 2 people.
Yeah, that I would actually enjoy that. I'm not a Sims player.
Yeah.
But...
Maybe like add like mini games or something. So.
Not a bad idea.
Fun. Yeah.
Sims is kind of dead. It definitely does need a nice reboot, and the Switch would help that. Yes, the Switch would definitely aid with that. They haven't had a Sims game on console since maybe the 3DS was the last Sims game I can think of that came to a console. And that's technically not a console. Say it again?
what's the newest Sims up to date now? Because I know there is a new Sims out. They just added like toddlers or something new to the game.
Yes, they just added the toddler expansion, which is really fun. And then they updated it, and I think they have a vampire one now too.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
so
wish they would add pets too.
Yes, that is one that I really wish they would add. They had that on The Sims 3, I believe.
I'll say they had that on the game cleverly named Sims Pets.
Yeah, exactly.
That one too.
Like cleverly named Sims Pets.
I don't know why they just never brought it out to the ones that they released after that. Like
honestly, I don't know either.
I don't know.
Fan favorite, so.
I mean, excuse my French, but it seems as though the DS was just like the Sims whores of consoles, because the DS had multiple Sims games, all of them with like stupid themes, like pets and theme parks specifically, or Sims.
Yes.
What was that called? My Sims, or like little chibi people.
Yeah, they have that on the phone, but it's not the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, what is your first one?
Well, I would like to, see a couple games come back that have been missing for a while. I always loved Metroid from the NES. I'd love to see it come back on the Switch. Metroid's last console appearance was back on the Wii with, and then they did just come out with one on the 3DS. I'm Nintendo portable handicap, so I don't. The only thing that I have is a Game Boy, so the original. But yeah, they just had, I think it was Federation Force for the 3DS.
Everybody hated it. I enjoyed that one.
But if they did do it, I still would love to see Metroid Prime from the GameCube, a style like that in HD graphics. I would be sold on it. I think that'd be a pretty awesome game, and it's one of the iconic Nintendo characters. So it needs to be. We're on the second generation that it hasn't been out, so I think it should come back for the Switch.
Well, two things you can have your fingers crossed. One of the original people with Deus Ex that created the game Deus Ex actually joined Retro Studios, people that publish the Metroid games, or make the Metroid games. Nintendo publishes them. And he's been, people have been asking, hey, what are you doing at Retro Studios? Because, they know he makes futuristic games typically. And the only thing he did was tweet out him eating some prime rib, keyword being prime. So, and he's doing more things, kind of teasing prime different things. Like, he's like, oh, what are you doing today? He's like, oh, I'm just kind of priming my car. I was like, okay, so you're making it pretty obvious you're working on a Metroid game, but it's just speculation. So hopefully there will be a Metroid game announced at E3, maybe, just because they keep doing all of the general teasers on it. Just got the hope, pretty much. Just have the hope. But yeah, that's that on. Hopefully your Metroid thing does come to fruition, considering the fact that they keep teasing it.
And because there is shooting involved, you could possibly throw in a multiplayer thing, so that it's just not story.
I did hear they were going to do like a Halo type multiplayer, 4 and 4. I don't know about loadouts, but like basically just a 4 and 4 Metroid gameplay. That would actually be pretty fun, because Metroid Prime Echoes tried to do that on the Nintendo Wii. On GameCube, excuse me. And that multiplayer, it was okay, because you're all Samus and you have to pick up different ways to use the cannon. But if they make a Metroid game, except for making everyone be Samus, they can kind of flesh it out and have different types of soldiers, if that makes any sense. Yeah. 4-player would definitely work, especially if they do more than just team battles and stuff. They could do Capture the Flag, maybe, King of the Hill. I don't know. I feel like a multiplayer Metroid definitely be an amazing thing to do. It would be a good shooter for Nintendo.
I agree.
Okay, so my next game I would say is Pikmin. I am a huge fan of the Pikmin series. Pikmin 3 was freaking gorgeous. People are like, oh yeah, the Wii was bad graphics. No, you haven't seen Pikmin 3 before. Pikmin 3 was sexy as hell. Like everything about that game was really good looking. The water was very realistic. All the texture and the like the wet plains, and when it rained, I don't know, everything in that game just freaking gorgeous. Even like the monsters had like a kind of like a what would you even call that? It was like a rubber like leather kind of look to them. Like they actually had a really nice texture in some of those monsters to kind of show that it came from a mushroom. One of the big ones that eat your Pikmin if you don't save them at the end of the night. Also, I would like for them to actually put multiplayer, like core multiplayer, because typically Pikmin has one character. Recently, they've been adding 2, and now there's up to 3 characters, but no 3-player storyline co-op. I just wish they would do something like that rather than having a collection multiplayer, because it was cool, but I want a little bit more with my Pikmin universe, and I really hope they add one to the Switch, because there was rumored of a Switch Pikmin game, and then when they finally announced the Pikmin game, it was for 3DS. And I'm actually kind of tired of them releasing games on the 3DS. Now that they have the Switch out, they need to shift their focus over, because I feel that's what kind of killed the Wii U. Kept seeing games that would work very well on the Switch, and they kept putting them on Wii U. So hopefully they do make one for the Switch and, you know, stop focusing on, you know, the 3DS. I mean, I don't know. That's the grandfather right now. Grandpa needs to step aside and let someone else get a legacy of their own.
Have you played it on 3DS? The one that was released?
Oh, it is actually not out yet. I do have it pre-ordered though. Yeah, it comes out in July, the same day as the 2DS, which I will be unboxing the 2DS and showing off a little bit of that game, maybe. But I know I'll be unboxing the 2DS though for sure.
Okay. Well, my second choice is Bomberman. I love
You're a little late, buddy. You're a little late. Bomberman already made it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
well,
it's there.
Okay. If that's the case, then I'd have to say 007.
Oh, ooh, nice one. Okay, I'll take that.
That was pretty much like my Call of Duty when I was younger, pretty much.
Like Goldeneye?
Yeah, Goldeneye. Yeah.
It'd be nice if they did Goldeneye.
The only thing, I could not beat that last level. That guy with like the double machine guns. Yeah, I couldn't beat that level for the life of me.
Oh no, I raged. That was my first time raging as a kid.
Yeah, I like the level design in it, and I love how you could do kind of like a multiplayer with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say too much about it because it's been such a long time. I just remember always playing that with friends. Always trying to get that last level beat. I'd always end up replaying all the other levels because I couldn't beat it, and I really loved the game. So that was one thing that took a lot of my childhood away from me.
Yeah, that game specifically, along with Time Splitters and Serious Sam, those are definitely the shooters of my childhood. They did do 007, the GoldenEye for, I believe it was the Xbox 360 and PS3. I don't fully remember, but they did definitely remaster it, so it would be cool if they bring it out.
Like I didn't buy it though, but I did see a title for that.
Yeah, it would be nice if they brought it to the Switch. Why not? That'd be a pretty nice port. Yeah, you know, it'd come back to the console it belonged on.
I'm not
basically.
Sure how popular it is anymore, but yeah, it'd be nice for it to come to the
Switch. Anybody over the age of 20 years old, probably about 25, will buy that game if it came out on the Switch. I can guarantee that. That's a guarantee, because a lot of people have memories of GoldenEye. That was the shooting game to go to.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that was the shooting game back then. And, you know, you can't be a gamer and not remember that game if you know, grew up in the early 90s with a Nintendo 64.
That was one of my first games I got for that system.
Hey, that was a good first game too, because my first game was...
I loved it.
Was my first game. I think mine was like Killer Instinct Gold.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a good game, but I mean, everybody else got Mario. I was jealous. All right, so Rebecca, what is your second one?
My second game is going to be Undertale. I have it on PC, but I don't play it, and I feel like if I had it on the Switch, I'd be able to play it more. It's a great pick up, put down game. I love the dry humor in it. I really hope they put it on the Switch.
Oh, so that's where you get your sense of humor from.
Yes, basically.
I personally don't care about Undertale, but I'm not going to really put my opinion out there.
Undertale's great. Really good.
Have you guys heard of Undertale at all?
No.
I heard of it. I don't know anything about it though.
It's really good. I enjoy it.
From what I know, in a nutshell, for you, Mike, they took a classic Nintendo game, like we're talking original Nintendo, and then kind of just revamped it just a little bit with like 1080p and or 720, but obviously it's not in the native Nintendo. And then they just kind of made a full story out of it. I think it's a turn-based RPG, isn't it, Rebecca?
Yeah, basically.
I don't know.
It's a nice storyline too.
I personally have absolutely zero interest in that game. So I don't know.
I have to check it out.
When I first saw it, I was wondering why people were raving so hard about it. And when I looked at it, someone was like in like a battle, and you just see a picture of the enemy, and then they blink, and then they make a face, and then it says damage was hit. I'm like, oh, so it's like a really, really, really bad Dragon Quest. I don't know. I did not know what was going on. I will never give that game a chance. To any viewers that do like that game, I apologize. Maybe I'll play it one day, but as far as like my first impression and seeing it, I did not understand the hype. So maybe I do need to play it, but it's just not for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for my second game, again, trying to bring back the past. And this one definitely hasn't had a lot of screen time for being, to me, I think more of a main character would be Kid Icarus. It's only been out 3 times. Obviously, the NES, original Game Boy. And like I said, I don't use portable with Nintendo, but it has came out on the 3DS. Like you said, they just seem to put everything on that. So hopefully now that the Switch has the portability and all that, like you said, kick the 3DS to the side and, give someone else the limelight. But I would love to see that. I don't know how you would transfer it into this modern gaming style, because it was a vertical scroller back in the day.
Well, they'd pretty much just follow the 3DS formula, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that would be one game that would make me want to go get a 3DS. I have 4 or 5 games that I've been looking at, and they're almost getting me to get one. But I think having that on the Switch would be pretty awesome.
Well, do you have man hands? Do you have like giant people hands?
Giant people hands? Oh my god!
Like, do you have Shrek hands or?
Yes. I mean, I don't have a comparison guide to know where I sit on the hand scale, but
can you hold a basketball with one hand without any problem? No. Okay, so you have small hands. You have like baby dainty hands. Got it. Meaning, you could totally get yourself a 2DS then, or get the new 2DS that's coming out, and we could do a double unboxing. Ha ha ha! Advertisement. But you could totally get a 2DS then. And because that's a hell of a lot cheaper. Like what? A normal 2DS will cost you about $70 if you get it pre-owned. If you get it new, I think it's $110, $120. The standard 2DS that's coming out in July will be, what was it, $149? I think it's exactly half of a Switch. So yeah, it'd be about $150. So if you wanted to get a 2DS to play the 3DS games, that would be a good idea. You don't really need the 3D. 2DS is exactly the same thing. It just doesn't have 3D. That's it. They'll play all the same games and everything. So
yeah. Well, the collector in me, I saw the 2 different gold versions of. They had the Zelda and then the Majora's Mask 3DS. So I figured I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone and actually, push towards the collection as well as getting one that I can use.
Well, fair enough.
I think those are pretty cool. And that was another thing that almost made me get a 3DS was for the sake of, I was like, ooh, I like the way this looks. Let's set it on the shelf and maybe I'll buy some games later. But yeah, I've noticed the 3DS is getting a lot of good games where it's like that should have been on a console.
Mm-hmm. Kid Icarus, because that game looks gorgeous for a 3DS. Well, I can't say for a 3DS game. 3DS games look really good, but the game looks like it could work on a console. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. The storyline's good. The voice acting's good. Everything Pitt has to say is hysterical. Yeah, they definitely should port that one over to the Switch. It's one of the few games that would work really well on the Switch. Didn't work well on the 3DS.
I think man, that's been a while. I feel like it's been 4 or 5 years ago, so it's crazy that here again so many years have gone by and they haven't thought to push
the 3DS
that.
has been out for like 8 years, I think. That was 2011. Yeah, it's been about 6 years. Never mind. It's about 6 years going on 7.
I don't know. It seems like they have a new one all the time. It's like we got the 3DS, we have the XL, we have the XL Amiibo bundle package with back massager. So it's like you just kind of lose track when you know, all this stuff comes out, because they're every year revamping it and making it something else. And then now here we're going backwards with the 2DS. So
look on the, well, a 2D, well, when they do it without the 3D, it cuts down manufacturing costs and allows them to make it cheaper. I do know that. With that being said, most console gamers don't think about it from the PC gaming space. Not that I'm defending them in any way, but every year there's a new graphics card. So think of it this way. Nintendo brings out a new iteration of the 3DS at least every 2 years, it seems like. They kind of wait about 1.5 to 2 years to bring out a different version of the same thing. Typically, they're not very different other than like maybe like a different color, skin, or theme. Overall, they're practically the same. With that being said, when they bring out another 3DS, it's kind of like how they bring out a new graphics card every year. But the thing is when you buy a 3DS, you're not spending more than $200 to get a better model. So think of it that way. Because I mean, the PS4, Xbox, you know, Sony and Microsoft, they typically do the same thing. Nintendo's kind of, you know, sticking their toe in the wonders and waters of upgrading your system every single year, because you know Sony already has 3 different PS4s. Microsoft's going to have 3 different Xboxes, you know, and the Switch I'm sure is going to get a different iteration at some point as well. Hopefully not soon, considering they need to get the system in more people's hands. But the 3DS has definitely been out long enough for them to upgrade it, in my opinion. I feel like they should do an overhaul upgrade, but you know, I'm not Nintendo, I can't make that decision. But because what say what
Oh, I was going to say, one thing about the 3DS, I don't know about anyone else, but I find when you use that 3D aspect of it, it kills my eyes. It always gives me a headache. If I do use it, I usually pre-take an Advil before I actually use it.
You literally have to get yourself used to it. Day one, I turned it on, left it on, only used it with it. After day one, like I can't even use the 3DS without it. Like I'm actually very comfortable using the 3D. Now that so many games don't use the 3D anymore, I find myself not really switching it on. Now I kind of do what everyone else does. I'm assuming people do this because, you know, we're all human. Yeah. Is when you turn a new game, you just kind of turn the 3D on for a second just to see what it looks like, and you turn it back off. Yeah. So I even did that with Fire Emblem. I turned on with Fire Emblem, like, oh, Fire Emblem's in 3D, cool, and then I turned it back on. So
weird how they kind of have that on the system, but they don't really take advantage of it. It's just kind of there.
Yeah, the 3D craze kind of died because it was fresh when PS3 was doing it, and 3D movies and 3D TVs, and now that's kind of done. So I mean, not as far as the theaters are concerned, but for the most part, it's done. Well, did anybody have a final game or final thoughts they would like to share?
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, complete silence.
I don't think anyone has anything today.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I guess that ends our discussion. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for our next video. All right, catch you later. Bye.